How is everybody doing today? And in this video, we are going to be talking about the main thing that every gacha game has on their checklist, or what we would hope is on their checklist, which how much endgame is in Zenless Zone Zero. And thankfully enough, with all the time I'm putting into the game in the beta, I've unlocked the majority of the modes that we have so far as we know, in terms of the endgame loop. And there's quite a bit to do when it comes to the weekly basis of content that you're going to be doing in Zenless Zone Zero, which I'm excited to talk about. Before we get into that, make sure to leave a sub, a like, and a comment, and let me know what exactly you're most excited for in Zenless, whether it's the characters, the combat, the story, because it just excels in so much of it that I just can't wait for the full release. I literally need them to hurry up and drop a release date so I know when to get ready. But other than that, let's get into the video, and starting off with something that I know a lot of people are probably going to resonate with very easily, because it's a similar mode in both Honkai Star Rail and also Honkai Impact, which is the Hollow Zero mode, which is akin to the Simulated Universe and also Elysian Realm mode. This is by far one of their funner modes, of course, that you are going to be grinding out weekly, not only for your points to level up your license level, which goes all the way up from 1 to 60, giving you a numerous amount of rewards coming from the film that you need to summon, even to a device at the bottom, allowing you to make your own relic with its main stat and the set that you're going to be using, with a bunch of Bamboo Ascension materials, money, and Bamboo coins to summon on the Bamboo banner, which is all really great stuff. And this gives you a long-term goal to build out and finish out as long as you're playing this game as well. We also have a grindable tree to make your experience a lot easier, just like the Simulated Universe tree, being able to give you defense, attack, faster energy gain, more damage boost, and also more features to Hollow Zero to make it more exciting and to allow you to have a greater advantage. This game mode is super fun in terms of all the things that you can do when it comes to the buffs, the debuffs, all the things that you can encounter when it comes to being a low health build with a nasty amount of damage, or working where you're only doing chain attacks and having a limited amount of them and do some absolutely absurd combos. There's a lot of really cool things that come with Hollow Zero, and this is going to be grindable for your week, of course, giving you up to a certain amount of points to level up your license level to give you those rewards, and also having bounties that have specific conditions that you want to build out or basically get to being done while the week is going over, and you're going to be getting some rewards such as Bamboo coins, XP, Denny's, or the money that you have in this game, and so much more. It's really cool to see that not only do we have to clear it to be able to build out our license level, which gives us rewards over time, we also have specific missions to go ahead and do as well, while also filling out this tree that we have, or this grid, with all the different buffs and all the different features that we can unlock along the way. Some really good stuff for us to work towards as we play the game, and I'm pretty sure if they go down the Honkai Star Rail route, they're just going to give us more and more versions of the Hollow Zero, whether it be new mechanics, whether it be a new mode, something in this regard. They've done so well with Honkai Star Rail, I'm pretty sure they'll do the same thing with Zenless Zone Zero, or that's what I would hope they would do. And in the same tab, we also have Shiyu Defense, which honestly is a big breath of fresh air when it comes to the TV riddle mode that we used to know in CBT2, now that you may know in CBT3. If you haven't watched my video already before, where we talked about all the changes, all the really good things that they've done to Zenless Zone Zero, there's barely any TVs after you beat chapter 1 of the story. Now that could be improved on, but we'll have to wait and see what they do for the release. But for Shiyu Defense, going into the later stages, of course, this is where we get to meet a lot of the cooler endgame mechanics, not only with each stage, of course, being a certain condition that allows you to beat the enemies faster, whether it giving you more ultimate damage, allowing you to generate energy faster, or giving you boosts on your damage. You also have to make sure, of course, as the standard for a lot of the Hoyo games, you have to have 2 teams ready, so you do have to diversify in what you're going to build. But there's also an end game mechanic for the enemies where you do have to element match these shields, or it's going to take a long time to brute force, which I think opens up a lot of compositions when it comes to what you need to have on your team as a damage type, and what do you need to be able to blast down the shields that they have before you can whittle down their health. It's a lot of really cool stuff that is going to change the way we think about team and the way we're going to be making our combos as well, because you do want to do as much damage as you can, but you also got to make sure that that shield is shredded off before we get into the main health. So there's a lot of really cool stuff that the enemies are able to do. They have some really high health. I don't expect myself to be able to beat them for a good minute now, because the health is really high and the time limit I have to be able to beat both sides is going to be quite some time for me to do when it comes to the stamina I'm allowed to have in the beta. So some really cool stuff. Having matching shields is really nice. Maybe even some other instances they can make in the future is like these shields can only be broken by chain attacks, these shields can only be broken by bamboo chain attacks, or something like that. Some really cool stuff that they could put in the game that can make the combat more diverse, make you have a little bit more freedom, or restrict the way of playing in a slight fashion to make it a little bit more challenging. Some really cool stuff that they can definitely do with this. And they of course have their centered around elements that they do like, and of course how Starro likes their weaknesses as well. A lot of really cool things they can do with this. I don't expect this to be the actual MLC. I do think this is more in regards to a Forgotten Hall or the introductory version of the MOC. I do think once I beat 10, if I ever get the chance to, it's going to unlock the real version of it if it's available in the beta, but I can assume so that's the case. Going into out of that one tab, which is mostly our endgame content right there, we also have the rally commissions, which has a mode or a stage that refreshes weekly as well, that gives you a good amount of rewards, of course coming from a bamboo coin as well, and a lot of other materials that come from this area as well. And this is more of a, you kill this plane of field of enemies, you go on to the next, you beat the next, you find this objective, do this objective, and then you find another plane of enemies, and then you go to the final boss, which is some huge enemy with multiple stages, multiple phases, with some really nice and cool looking moves. This is a really good mode, and it's just filled with the combat that you love from Zenless, and something that you are really going to enjoy experiencing when you are doing this every week. And of course, another cool thing that I didn't expect them to do, since there's no stamina in this game, they do allow you to actually go ahead and grind out materials from beating stages you've already done. So you can actually go into a rally commission, and if you have spare time, you just really like Zenless, you can go mint pick if you want and go ahead and grind out these little cargo trucks that give you ascension material and also give you some XP material or money that you can grab when you beat these stages you've already done before. So some really cool stuff if you really want to sink your time into it, because remember, these stages don't take stamina anymore as the change they've made since CBT2 into CBT3, and I can't wait for what they're going to be giving us in the future as well when it comes to all the endgame content or all the grindable content we can do as well. So other than that, other than talking about Hollow Zero, the MOC or Shiyu Defense, and the rally commissions as well, we also need to talk about this one thing that I really hope they hone on in, and I will be showing gameplay in the video as well, which is the co-op mode or the Reckless Challenge, being these boss modes that you can matchmake with other players. Now we do thankfully have some co-op footage, because currently I've been trying my best to matchmake with some other players, but right now there is no friend system. I hope they add that. There is no invite system, so I can't add anybody else in the beta at the current moment. So we're gonna have to play the footage that you are seeing right now, where we're able to see that two players are going against this one boss, being able to parry off of each other and also chain attack as well, which looks absolutely fun going against this one boss. Now, one thing I do hope that they're able to do, and one thing I do want to preface as well, is that this is a 3-time, I guess you could say, drop, just like how your weekly boss is for the most part. And this gives you these core essential materials for your agent skills that you're going to have for your characters. Now, the one thing I hope that they do, of course, I want them to 100% keep the solo challenge option as a thing for every player. I think no one should be forced to be played with other characters or other players, and no one should be forced to have to go find people to go do content. 100% keep a solo option in for every single one of these instances I'm about to talk about. But for the multiplayer aspect of it, I hope they can not just limit it to one big boss with a good amount of health and that's it. I really do hope they can give us some type of cool challenge or some type of mode in the future, whether it be for solo play or multiplayer play, where we're defending an objective, we have hordes of enemies coming all at once trying to hit that objective, and we have 3 of our friends, 2 of our friends going ahead and defending it, you know, comboing off each other, parrying what we need to parry. There's a big boss that's trying to go at the objective now, or we have to hold an area, or we have to go clear areas. I hope it's just not one boss in the middle. That's all we do for the rest of Zenless Zone Zero. I really do hope that they try to be creative with this multiplayer system that they could have in Zenless, because that could open up some very big opportunities and some really fun gameplay for the players and the dev team for you know, in together, it's going to be a really good experience to have that in the game. And I really hope that they put that in priority as well, because it'd be a really cool thing to have some friends and be able to play with them. Because as we may know, for Genshin and also for Impact lost its co-op actually, and also with Star Rail, there's a very lack of support for the co-op. And I hope this changes with Zenless Zone Zero, with how great the combat is and how I guess you could say the freedom of the combo system is going to allow for some really cool clips to have and some really cool moments, or some really funny ones, if they were to go down this route of being able to do some really cool objectives, really cool modes with the co-op system. But this is the weekly boss refresh that we do have at the current moment that has a co-op system tied to it. So other than that, that is currently it for the Endgame content that is in Zenless Zone Zero. I cannot wait for more things that they're going to be bringing out. We do have a tab at the bottom right that says empty at the current moment, that could be coupled in with something that is Endgame related or weekly refresh related, and that's going to be really good things. I think this is a really good step in the right direction of us having all of these modes at the start of the game and release, and I can't wait for what more they're going to be bringing in the future. So on that, let me know what you're excited for Zenless Zone Zero. I cannot wait for this game to come out. They by far have some of the best mechanics for combat and some of the fastest paced action that you can have in a gacha game. So other than that, thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. Make sure to leave a like, sub, comment, all that different type of stuff. See you on the next one, and peace.